Okay, we got a little technical snafu, so we gotta start over. Dom's fat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're basically,
Let's
good thing
catch
we
up.
didn't get on record yet.
Yeah.
To catch it up, basically.
So you're currently at
178.
178.
And that was pockets empty. This doesn't weigh nothing.
Did you just weigh yourself right now?
That's why this shirt don't fit right, because this shirt's made for a guy with a chest.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the whole problem.
Wait, you weighed yourself right there in the living
Yeah,
room?
178.
Wow. So we were saying about 5 years ago, 5 years ago you were 137 pounds.
And let me just explain one thing. I'm 178. I had 3 cups of coffee, iced coffee, and a 12-ounce Red Bull. I barely peed. So there's a little bit of water weight in there.
Water weight is still weight, though.
Yeah, but still, pick up 3 cups and a Red Bull. That's at least
whatever.
a pound.
It's like saying it's food weight.
So I'm probably 177.
No, you are what you weigh. You weigh what you weigh.
Yeah.
I mean, you put that stuff in your body, so it is in your body. It
Wow,
counts.
you're right.
Yeah.
Dude, you're a really smart person.
This is stupid. Yeah, if you don't count my legs, hey, I'm only 120 pounds.
I guess if you think about it, it is. It's in
Yeah,
my body.
my head weighs 25 pounds.
Yeah,
but,
take away the head weight.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I'm 178. Yeah, I used to actually,
What's the highest you've been then?
I used to be, honestly, when I was working and had to buy food, like before the cruise ships, and I was actually working every day out, I would always average between about 140 and 155 for the longest. So it's not like, this is just a little bit more dramatic. But there's been 3 times in my life that I've been
20 pounds over it.
But there's been 3 times in my life, or 3 or 4, maybe 5 times that I went up to 180 and been back down to 140. Yeah, it's 40 pounds.
So this is, I mean, you said 177 now?
I'd say an average of 180 to 140 is the weight jump.
But I mean, you're already at the upper.
I'm at
You're at the upper limit right now.
Yeah, might as well say 180.
Wow.
If I just ate a hero sandwich and got on that scale, it might say 180.
Wow. So you've never been like 190, 200?
Once, yeah, but one time I was 192.
Wow. When was this?
That was the biggest I got when I was maybe like 20 something.
This is before New York?
Yeah.
Wow. Good God.
Yeah, I got up to 192.
And
Well, I
was
was
it
eating good in Ohio, bro. You could eat damn good in Ohio. I was detailing cars, dude.
Oh, you're also driving too.
Yeah, you're driving everywhere and eating. Like, you ain't doing nothing. New York made me a little thinner, actually.
Wow. So did you have to consciously lose that much weight once you got to...
Yeah, dude, I have to. That's why I'm telling you, I know how to lose it. Surprisingly, it's a basic formula. You got to change your lifestyle. And I'll lose it.
There's knowing how, but then there's also the doing.
I mean, there's
and the
the
fact
doing.
that you gotta have to do it while you're in the airport or something.
It's all mental, though. Well, I can't do it in the airport, but
Yeah,
I could do it in the cruise ships.
You're in the airport a lot, though.
I could, yeah, but I could work out on the cruises. It is a little harder. It's a little bit more of a hurdle
Yeah.
I'm facing this time because I am a picky eater, and on the ships, I could eat healthy for the most part if I don't mind how it tastes. I could eat boiled eggs,
Right.
maybe with some pepper on them. I mean, I know what to do. Here's the thing, man. We all know it's just, I've done it before. It's just working out on the regular, which I'm facing a hurdle with the cruise ships. It makes it a little harder.
Yeah, of course.
But if I figure out, which I'm going to, once I figure this out, I'm unstoppable. It's growth, mental growth.
See, the problem with this your plan is that you're already patting yourself on the back.
Well, I just know
you haven't actually done it, but you're already in your head like, see, I'm already skinny. But it's like, no,
it starts up here.
Well, no, it doesn't. It starts with your feet. It starts when you actually start moving. But like once you start saying in your head, I can turn this around anytime, it's like, no, that's not how health works. There's there's a number that's already ticking down somewhere.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's not like the number doesn't get reversed. It just ticks down slower.
I think, I don't know what you could harm yourself from losing 30 to 40 pounds back and forth. There's got to be something.
I swear, that's what we were
stress on your heart
before recording, but it was like, there's got to be, stress on your heart, some sort of body part, because I feel like you're almost healthier staying big than it is to go big, small, big, small.
Well, I can't do the whole dramatic thing. I've learned that.
Yeah.
I used to do it like I just stop eating and see how fast I could lose it.
It's like your blood sugar or something.
Well,
it's
you
like
know what
go
happens
nuts.
too is I don't think it's sustainable.
Yeah.
And you lose everything. It's like you hear about Ozempic body. You get Ozempic body when you just don't eat. Now it's called Ozempic body.
Well, it's Ozempic face too.
Yeah, before it used to be called anorexia.
Your face is all fucked up.
Well, you know why they're not eating what they need.
Yeah, but it's like you lose. Nobody can predict where you're going to lose the weight first. Because you think you got a big belly, you think that's going to be the first thing that goes. But it's like, no, it's your arms and your face that go.
Actually, you know where I lose it first, honestly? My bottom lip. Do you see this? Do you see the meat under there?
I guess, yeah.
Yep.
I can see the stomach.
Well, I'll lose it in my bottom lip first.
Yeah.
People, like, right now, they're always asking me for a dip.
Oh, wow.
People are always like, you got a dip? Come on, you're holding out. You got a Zen?
Wow.
I'm like, no, dude, I'm just fat. Like, it's
Scott's holding cocaine in there.
Yeah, it's my bottom lip.
Wow.
Can you guys see that?
Huh. Man, that is so much, like, to go up and down that much, though. That's almost like
it's psychological.
That's like what boxers do or something.
But that's probably where I developed the habit from boxing. But do you think it's like what do you think's wrong with me psychologically that makes me do? I feel like once I'm all skinny and happy and healthy, I go to food. You know, I used to just go to food when I'd get stressed. I'd go for the food. I remember if the train would be delayed, I'd go out of the station and go eat. I wouldn't even be hungry.
Right.
I just go to food.
Well, I think I've always said this, everybody has a natural weight. This is the weight that God intended you to be at. And if you can be in denial about it, where you think, oh, I'm supposed to be this, I'm supposed to be that. But it's like, you do regress at a certain point.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly you're not the type of person who's going to, 260.
Right. Well, you never know, dude.
Nah.
You would switch up my medicine?
You would stop. Well, yeah, that would be like, you're actually like hormonally sick.
Yeah.
But it's like, you're not naturally going to ice cream your way up to 260.
Yeah, the most I'll do is right here.
Yeah, you'd get sick before then. So
I'm sick now.
If you were sick, you would have already switched it up.
I mean, I think I have been switching it up. It just takes time. I've really been kind of watching, man. I've been hitting the gym. I went twice. You got to keep in mind, when you don't work out forever and you're sore for a week. I barely even worked out, dude. I'm still sore from about 7 days ago.
Wow.
But I'm going to go today. Then here's the thing. These past 3 days, I've been nonstop recording. This is like, we did a podcast. I did a podcast yesterday. Here's today. I did 4 sketches in the past 2 days. The shit catches up to you, dude. Creating a podcast studio. I got another podcast coming out, you guys. Check out Good Afternoon Planet Earth. This is going to be a fun one, Dan. It's different.
See, like I was saying, this is you congratulating yourself in your head.
What?
Of like, oh, look at all this stuff that I did. That's why I'm not healthy. It's like, no, if you wanted to be healthy, that would have been the priority.
Well, I'm just starting.
No,
I haven't been boozing it up.
This is internal storytelling.
Nah, dude.
This is like whenever anybody starts
I've been eating salads.
Whenever someone starts telling me about their big plan, the screenplay they're about to start next week. I'm gonna write this movie. Oh, we got all these plans. But we're gonna do this and that, and it's like, okay, that's great. Having plans is a great idea, but it's like, no, start writing and then tell me the plans. Because once you start,
I went to the gym.
Once you start, that's great. But just in general, this happens for everybody. This is why people go so nuts, because they have this idea in their head of who they are and what they're gonna do, but they're not actually doing it. We both know people like this.
I did good though so far. I haven't been eating past like 8 o'clock.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm trying.
But it's like anytime the fact that you're tying this to podcasting and making sketches,
being busy, bro,
and that doing one thing is somehow like this is why. It's like no, this is excuse making.
Well, I would have been at the gym right now, but I'm doing this.
These are excuses. This is the mental habit of I couldn't do this because I had to do this. It's like no, you chose. I didn't even want to record today. This was you.
Well, we got to get it done though.
No, this was on you. You guys we could have recorded on Friday. That was the plan.
Well, I'm shooting a sketch on Friday.
This is you saying like, nah, if I do this, then it's okay if I don't go to the gym.
Well, I'm still going. I'm going after this podcast.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Get my hair cut.
We'll talk when you're down to 160.
All right.
Yeah, 170. This is still nut. Yeah.
Well, I'm not paying attention to the scale.
You're in the danger zone.
It's
right
how
now.
we look. The scale takes time. It's a lot how you look. I might put on more muscle. Maybe I'll get down to 160 and be solid.
All right. Yeah. There you go. Internal storytelling right here.
We'll find out.
This is you in the mirror telling yourself. It's like, no, I'm actually muscular. That's the problem. And it's like people can get so delusional. This is the worst, especially. Well, I mean, health stuff. It's like obviously you know your own body, so it's
it takes time though.
I I won't tell you how your own body works. Everybody's body works differently. But it's like so many people get caught up in this idea of like, it's like I got to write like it's like The Secret?
Yeah.
The vision board.
Oh, the 10 pages?
Well, not even that, where it's like, I'm going to write a check to myself, like Jim
Oh,
Carrey.
yeah.
I'm going to put this in my wallet. I'm going to tell myself I am an Oscar-winning screenwriter. I'm going to repeat that 100 times a day in the mirror. It's my affirmation. And it's like, all right, dude, that's great. You're doing that. But it's like, you should probably download some screenwriting software.
Yeah,
you should probably actually start doing some shit.
But I am
you
doing
start
this
telling
shit.
you this shit. I don't. If you were doing shit, you wouldn't be 177.
Well, I went to the gym.
No, the act.
You don't lose it right away.
No. So you're gonna next week. You're
It's
gonna
been
be
about
like
6 days of
next
me paying
week.
attention.
You're gonna be like, man, I went to the gym last week. The journey has begun, and it's like this is what people do.
Every podcast we're gonna wear ourselves.
Hey, we used to do that. That used to be the intro to the podcast.
Yeah.
Before you left for the cruise ship.
I just don't like
we
putting
gotta
all the pressure.
I don't know if there's some Dry Salami fans can go back and find the archives. There were a few episodes at the very beginning. It was you you're about to leave for the cruise ship. I don't remember what the numbers were.
It's gonna take time though. That's one thing I know. It takes time.
Yeah.
I don't even look for a difference till about 3 months in.
Yeah.
Like before and after pictures, it's good to take monthly ones.
Yeah.
But it takes time, man. 40 pounds ain't nothing to wink at.
It's a lifestyle change. You gotta these are good habits. You gotta you know exactly how this works. It's what you gotta drink. It's all calories in, calories out.
Yeah.
Are you burning more than you're actually taking in? And
Start getting the habit of doing curls. See, my whole thing is I'm going to lose all the weight and put it all in my arms. You're going to see I'm just going to have some big tank-ass arms. I'm going to be on the pod all rubbing coconut oil on them.
I think you're going to be in about 3 months from now, it's going to be kind of cold outside. And you're going to be like, dude, I'm going to get big arms. Just watch. Just check it out. Just right now. And you're going to get all excited. And it's like, all right. I'm not going to argue with you, but it is what it is. This is these are all like actions speak louder than words.
Yeah, I think I'm turning it around.
Yeah.
Getting the shit for hair loss. I'm going to turn it around, Danny.
You're doing that again?
No, I never really gave it a full fate. I tried it one time.
And then
I met a guy that told me he tried it, and he was like, it's not healthy, so I just didn't do it again.
It was finasteride?
No, it was
pills?
just drops. He's like, it raises your blood pressure.
Oh, right.
You know, my face was twitching, but I'll be honest
I feel
with
like this was, once again, podcast fans can go back. I'm pretty sure the first time we discussed hair loss.
You did say it.
This was the same thing I said. It was like, something's fishy here.
You know what's funny?
The doctor who's telling you he does it, it's like, that's not a good doctor.
Right.
A real doctor is not going to try to give you hair loss medicine that you don't need.
I tried it. My face was twitching, but I think my face was honestly twitching from stress. Dude, I'll tell you, I got to do something in my mind. These ships stress me out so much. Dude, I can't even describe. I'm already stressed for the ship I'm about to go on.
I'm stressed you're about to go on this ship. I mean, like, this isn't even like you're going into a stressful environment. It's like there's no amount of like mental games you can do to not make traveling. You know?
Right.
I think there are like it will help if you're you know what to expect now.
I bought wet wipes. I'm like, okay, I know I'm gonna shit 400 times.
Right.
I know everything's gonna be fried and filled with cheese. Kids are gonna be screaming, crying, people peeing on the floor. They were like, oh, I sat down. I go, oh, it's all wet. She goes, my daughter peed there.
Wow.
I'm like, all right.
Jesus Christ.
Let's just wash these. So gotta spend 6 hours washing shorts now.
Man, bunch of animals.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I think I'll enjoy myself. I'm going to try to let loose some aggression, let the pen flow a little. You know, I'm trying to do little things. I want to get into a good book, dude. I've been trying to find a decent book, like a page turner, fiction, stories. I don't know. I just can't get into anything, man.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, like, it's all just, habits. Once the ball starts rolling.
It's got to be something I'm interested in, though, to read it.
Well, there is a physical aspect to reading, too, where you just have to get used to the fact that nothing's happening. But once you get so used to TikTok kind of shit, where it's like, bam, 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 and you're used to blinking lights in your face, it's like, just physically, it's hard for some people to sit down and look at something that's not moving. Because you're so used to moving images always, in your face, that it's like, there is the best book in the world. It's not going to be as compelling as, like, You know, it's like
Dude, I would love to check your IQ.
cat videos and shit. Well, this is just like you can see it on the train. It's like people. You can see people trying to put their. I mean, I'm just as bad about this, but it's like people who are looking at their phone and you see them put it in their pocket.
Right.
20 seconds.
If
Bam.
that.
If that, yeah. But it's like that 20 seconds, they're sweating.
Right.
They're like they're tensing up. Their eyes are darting around. They're looking at the signs on the train and shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, bam, it's coming back out. Because it's like your brain is trained now to like, it's on like hunt mode.
And the security blanket, you know. It's so funny.
It's just like, what do you do with your eyes? You're on the train. Am I supposed to just look at this fucking guy in front of me? Yeah.
Exactly.
I got to look at something.
They should have to blindfold us on trains.
Well, the people that got it set, you see these like Hasidic guys that got their little like Old Testament or something.
Right. You need one of those little books.
You need something like that fits in your breast pocket. It's just like,
I had one. Somebody stole my book bag. It was in there. I picked one up just to bring it around. I needed the good Lord.
Like a little you need a constitution.
I just needed something every time I got tempted.
Yeah. Oh, those guys too. You got to think. These like Orthodox Jews in Bed-Stuy, their Old Testament. How many times do you think that guy has read the Old Testament?
That's what they're reading?
Yeah. Or like the Torah or whatever,
Yeah.
their holy book. But it's like, that guy already has the whole thing memorized.
Do you think he read it more than the people on the street corner that scream out the Bible? Turn to page 457. 457.
Yeah.
Tell me what it says right there.
Well, this is the thing. I've never been religious, so I've never like dedicated myself to a single. I've never read anything more than like 2 or 3 times. So I can't imagine the feeling of like, you're reading about Matthew and David again or something.
You don't read the Bible sometimes?
No, I'm not. I've never read the Bible.
Have you ever read a verse?
That time I was making fun of it on the show.
Wow.
But like, I can't imagine, especially like the story part. I mean, I'm familiar with it, but there's like a story part of the Bible where it's telling you about Ezekiel and Joseph. And
right.
shit. And it's like, how many times can you read that?
Right.
It's not the part where he's telling you about the 10 Commandments and like.
Well, they say every time you read it, you get something new out of it. I'll be honest, I haven't read the Bible that much, but I feel good when I do.
Well, I mean, there's certain parts of it where there's like a telling you what to do part.
Right.
Proverbs and saying and stuff. But then there's also all this other stuff about growing corn or something.
Yeah, you're
and
right,
it's like,
in the field.
How many times can you read about your neighbor's sheep? It's like, 8 sheep on a Sunday. I don't know.
Yeah, man.
Maybe that's what you got to do.
Well, those things are huge on TikTok now. People saying dinosaurs were actually dragons. If you look in the Bible,
right,
there's mentions of dragons. Hey, it might be true. My thing that blows me away is I'd have to see it in real life to know this is true. You ever see those images of the giant skeleton? Like the huge skeletons that look like they were 60 feet tall?
They found skeletons?
Well, it's got to be some faked. I always come across it on TikTok. That can't be true, though.
I mean, you see like an image of a...
they'll be showing you. Like, dude, I'm sure if I Google this, we could Google fact this easy. But they'll show an image of like an
giant?
Archaeologist like dusting out like a 60-foot giant.
Wow.
It's like, there's no way that's real.
Yeah, I mean like dinosaur size?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I come across the images like every 4 or 5 years. It was big on YouTube back in the day, people trying to go viral. Now it's TikTok,
I think, yeah. I mean, there is, like we're talking about the human body expanding and shrinking and everything. I think there is like an upper limit to how big. Because if your skeleton is that big, that means your heart has to be proportionately like this big. So it's like, I think your internal organs can only support so much. But I think like it's wild to even think that there are some guys who are like 8 feet tall and they have the same internal body parts as like a guy who's like 3 feet tall.
Just way bigger.
It's not even that they're way bigger. It's just spread out.
Man,
Because you see these like little midget guys, they're like compact.
Right.
But there's like, I think it's all in there, but it's just like.
Well, their organs got to be longer than a 3-foot person.
I don't know.
I was just hanging with this girl, and she's like, oh, my friend Dave's coming. And Dave comes. This dude, I swear, I didn't ask him how tall he is. Probably about 6'7", easy. Just thick, one of these veiny guys.
Uh-huh.
And he's holding a pitcher of beer. That's what he drinks. And I'm sitting there, dude, it's hard for me to drink a beer. She's like, you're taking all day. I took a couple sips. I'm like, I'm bloated. I just ate.
Here comes 177.
Yeah, Big Dave comes over holding the pitcher.
Oh.
Dude, I'm like, I feel like emasculated here.
Uh-huh. especially if you're like sitting at like a bar.
Right.
Your feet are dangling and shit.
Well, we were standing at a bar. No matter how you look at it, dude. Look at my height and then look at somebody that's 6'7" on a chart. You know, dude, it's a big difference.
It's embarrassing. You never want to stand next to him.
And he was in cowboy boots, too, and that little 3 inches is a big deal.
Wow.
Yep.
See, that's the thing is that, like, I feel like when you're at that height, guys, well, especially when they get to, like, almost 7 feet, where it's, like, kind of, like, freakish.
Right.
Where you're like, oh, this, looks like a movie or something.
Right.
It looks
They're
unreal.
all long.
But it's like
neck all long.
Well, there's a certain personality type where once you get over 6'8", where you get the tall guy who's embarrassed about being tall.
Right.
Because I think once you're like 6'3" to 6'6", it's like I'm the shit.
You're proud.
I'm proud. I'm a big guy. But once you get tall, then it's just like, man, I'm so sorry.
Right.
Every time you get in a cab, you're just like, I'm sorry. What can I do?
And they look like those puppy Great Danes when they're learning how to use their big legs.
Yeah. Well, their clothes look all fucked up too because
right.
like, their pants have to be like super long.
And they're the first to get bad knees because when you're that tall, you're always playing basketball.
Yeah.
You always see them walking.
But I feel like there's a reason why like most like clothes, if you see like a mannequin or something, it's usually a guy who's like me or your height. Because proportionately, the shirt and the shorts and the pants, it fits together in a certain way. But once you get up to like 6'8", 6'9", it's mostly legs.
Yeah.
It's all legs, and then the top is still the same size.
What's crazy about those tall guys, even like around 6'2" or 6'3", and maybe even 6 foot, but when they'll lose like 60 pounds, you won't even notice.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
When they tell you their weight, you ever have one of those big, tall dudes? You'll be like 380. You'll be like, are you serious?
When you see like a big-ass basketball player, and he's like, this guy's 250.
Right.
And it's like,
and he's skin and bones.
He's fucking tiny. You look like you could beat him up.
I mean, even just our friends, when we talk to them, like our friends, they're like 6'3" or 6'4".
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, they're up there. When they got a little bit of weight, they'll be like, well, I'm just trying to get below 260. And you're like, holy shit.
I think there is like, your lifespan goes down at a certain point.
Yeah, because they're always sweating.
Well, there's that and the back problems once they kick in. You already had back problems.
Yeah, well, that's from an accident, though.
I mean, they're bad, but it's like, anything that you have, they got it magnified.
Yeah.
Because they're carrying that much weight, and it's so much, the blood's got to travel all the way up there. So it's like, once those guys hit 65, 70, they're going to be like super fucked up.
A big reason I need to lose weight, dude, I have I need spinal surgery. I don't even want to put that out there, but doctors, when they x-ray me, they're always confused. They're like, man, how are you not in pain? I have a vertebrae that's kicked to the side, and that's why my back goes out. But dude, it never went out when I was like, to me, just for the overall health, muscle and everything else aside, being skinny's life was so much easier at around 140 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
That 40 pounds is major.
Up and down stairs and stuff?
Dude, well, the stairs not even so bad as much as everyday life. Just walking, slightly bending over.
Oh, yeah.
You could easily Dude, when I was 140, it was nothing. You go pick that leaf up. I'd pick it up.
Right.
I ain't picking up no damn leaf now. Kick that shit.
The problem, too, is that I think one thing people get in denial about when they say, like, because lots of people I've met who are like, I know how to, they lose weight, they gain weight. It's like they're used to like, or like, you ever hear a guy who like gets sick and he's like, what happened? I never get sick.
Right.
It's like, oh, I'm sick now, but it's like somebody must have, poisoned me because I never get sick.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, things have changed.
Right.
We're both the oldest we've ever been. You are the oldest you've ever been. So it's like all those little rules you've invented over the years about how your body works. It's like, no, you're at the worst part.
Right.
And once you get past your 20s or something, it's like, no, everything is always at its worst right now.
Yeah, it is.
In terms of like, you're driving the oldest car you've ever driven.
Right.
At this point. So it's like the parts are always going to be more fucked up than they were in the past.
And now it's like, honestly, I used to work out for girls before. Like one girl's telling me, don't work out, girls don't like that. And that's when it clicked in my head because I was telling her I was at the gym. And then it clicked in my head how I used to actually work out for girls. But, dude, now when I'm at the gym, this is for overall health. This is more for survival. When I'm doing dips, dude, I'm thinking.
Well, it's like it's your mental health. At that point.
I'm like, I want to live.
Where it's like, well, you're just sick of being, when you're when you're out of shape, it's like you're tired all the time.
Yeah.
You're just fucking laying around. Yeah, you want that like pep in your step, that like, you know, I'm gonna jump up these stairs kind of feeling. Plus, I think when the girls say that, they don't mean that literally. I think they just mean like, you're not being a fucking bodybuilder.
Right.
Girls don't like that, like.
Well, yeah, because now every day everybody
look.
overdoes the shit.
Well, it's like that guy, the Liver King kind of look, where it's like that's the kind of thing where that's other dudes that you're impressing.
And not even the look. I think honestly, also just the dieting. Like, dude, these men that really, really diet hard. I'm all about taking care of your health, but it's like, dude, we went out to eat with a group of friends.
15 eggs or something?
No, this dude's asking, like, the chef what type of oil they're cooking it. It's like, bro, just, you know. This dude don't fucking know.
Yeah, it's too much.
It's like, dude.
Well, at that point, you're just being annoying to everybody else.
And then those people are those same people that will leave the restaurant and get ice cream. You guys want to get ice cream? Let's get cookies. It's like, wait, you were just concerned with the
Well, that's all this, like, TikTok shit. They're getting in their head about seed oils.
Huh.
But they're also, like, you know, getting drunk every night.
Right. What are they getting in their head about seed oils?
Well, that's the whole new thing everybody's mad about, where it's like that's supposed to be the cooking oil everybody uses if there's, like, you know, whatever, like vegetable oils or something.
Right.
Yeah, you're supposed to use coconut or avocado oil. Or
I use olive oil. I mean, you know, sometimes some vegetable oil will make shit taste great, though.
I think it's not that people overthink these things, where it's like, you know, if you're being healthy or not.
Right.
Yeah. If you're fucking smoking cigarettes all night, it's like it doesn't matter what kind of oil you're using to cook your eggs. That's not what's going to make the difference.
With the whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'm so fat now, dude. I can gauge my fatness by how my underwear band. I know every time I got to lose weight is when my underwear band gets confused.
Yeah.
It never knows where to go.
Yep.
It'll be over here. It's up there. It's down there. You can never get the band right.
Yeah. I can always feel it. I've never been like fat, but I can tell when my body is out of shape. It's my lower back. It's when I start sweating.
Too.
Once you start sweating too much,
yeah,
it's like that extra level of sweat where it's like, I know it's not that hot right now.
For my lower back, I thought you were gonna say back pains.
That too. Yeah.
And also when I go down steps and my titties jiggle.
Yeah.
They really go. Like they'll start really
at least
jiggling.
that's like at least your body is telling you something there.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. The average person, though, I think that at least we're in a city like this that does remind you when you're out of shape. Because so many people who have that lifestyle of like driving to work, sitting at a desk, drive home, drive to the store, drive home.
Yeah.
You never get the feeling of your chest jiggling.
Right.
It's like some people probably live an entire day without going up or down steps.
Well, you know, those people, though, they wear that same uniform every day, and it contours to their body. So, like, they put on pants because they wear them every day. Like,
right.
You know, and it kind of fits their pants.
Tuck in a polo shirt, little bulge in there.
Yeah, and they're just like, I think the material itself adjusts.
But it's like, unless you're literally weighing yourself every day, you're not even going to notice once you start putting it on. But it's like here... It's like there's no way to get on that train without climbing up at a big ass thing of stairs. So it's like if my ankle's fucked up, it's like I tell pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way around it.
I mean, that's what really caused this major spring up in weight. I had this under control for the longest. This has to be the biggest, these past 3 years, this has to be the biggest you've ever seen me. You look back at pictures of me. I'll show you some pictures.
I guess I didn't really think about it.
Bro, let me show you. Can I show you a pic? I think somebody just sent me this.
Man, I gotta edit this fucking podcast.
Sorry. No, well, either way, guys, talk. I'll show you after the video. It's too hard to.
They're not gonna talk among themselves.
You can't tell because the pictures are too small. I'm used to a laptop.
Oh, I don't know.
We'll have to post it. We'll post it, guys. You're not gonna
what's
get
funny
to see
is that like if you ask me to like pull up a picture from 2016, I don't take pictures of myself.
Well, I didn't pull up a picture that was an old
not
YouTube
even that,
channel.
but it's like I'm not. Some people just regularly take pictures of themselves.
Yeah.
Just like take selfies on a regular basis. I don't do that at all. My picture, the only picture I might have if I had like a stand-up set from back then. But
you never do. Why not? You're right.
For what? I don't. Some people, that's like when their Instagram is like, here's me at the store and here's me at like, you know.
I can't think of one pic of you just snapping it.
Blessful
day, because that's what people do.
What do you get out of it, though?
It's what other people get out of it. They get to see you living a good life.
We talked about this, about Instagram. It's like, that's good if you're like, that's your thing. But it's like, I'm trying to be funny. I'm not trying to show you. Here's a picture of what I look like. How many pictures do you have when you're like?
I got a few in there. Me just smiling.
Do you post them online?
Yeah, on Instagram. I mean, Instagram is a platform for pictures.
I guess. I know. I feel like this is what Instagram used to be back in the day of like, here's my lifestyle. But now it's just fucking sketches.
Nah, dude, people love when you post a little pic. I mean, you got fans out there. They want to see you. You got to post a little pic.
I guess the problem, maybe I could do that now, but it's like some people just have like their photo roll on their phone. It's just like, here's me this every week. And you could see them gaining or losing weight. I don't have any of that.
Well, I mean, girls take more. If I take a selfie, it's to post it.
Yeah.
There's no pictures of me where I'm just like out taking a picture. Like, if I take a pic, I'm doing it up here. I'm getting the cheekbones right. The sun's hitting me. I'm hitting them with the halfway smile. This is my little.
Or even like, I don't like have pictures of like any of my old apartments. I was thinking about that because I've lived in so many different places in my life.
Yeah, me neither.
And I'm like, what? I mean,
all these places suck.
Well, I kind of wish I would just like for the memory of it. 'Cause I spent years in these places, and it's like would be nice to be able to think back. Oh, 2010, I was living in this house in San Diego, but it's like I'm at home. Why the fuck am I taking a picture of my home? I get home. It's like I'm not trying to like preserve this memory.
My videos it's all sketches in my apartments. I'm always shooting. So I could still look at my old apartments, but it's crazy when you go back. Like, I looked at my old place on McDougal. I'm like, man, dude, it was so small. My bedroom is bigger than my entire apartment was on McDougal.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
But like even pre-comedy though, do you have pictures of like when you lived in Youngstown?
I got one or two. I mean, probably not on purpose.
It's kind of weird though. But it's like if someone wanted to make like a documentary about your life,
where
they're like, where were you living in 2005?
Oh yeah,
it's like I got. I can think of it in my head. I could show you where it is on a map, but it's like, why would I take a picture of myself at home?
I need to start doing that now, though, documenting everything. Because what if somebody does want to take a documentary?
Yeah, that's the thing. I wish I was that kind of person who actually had the foresight of like, I'll want to remember this in the future. But it's like, I've never been like, it's just, even once we even had phones, we could do it easily. It's like, I didn't even like, it would be weird for me to stop in the moment and like, let me take a picture of my friend at the store.
What's great about these phones is now, like, you can get full-on videos of your children growing up. Like, you could always have that. Like, none of us had that. Like, I wish I had more videos of my sister growing up. Yeah. It happened so fast, There wasn't, phones like this weren't around then. Like, I mean, now it's real easy.
Yeah.
It's like, boom, we got the storage. We got everything. Put it on a MacBook. You got, you can keep that whole thing. Like, think about these people with these Ring cameras in their house. Like, people, I wonder if they record that and save it. Like, I would almost want to save that footage of my kid playing.
Right.
24/7, you just have it.
I saw this, there's a website now, all the traffic cameras in New York City on the street, like cameras looking down the red light cameras.
Oh, yeah, I seen that.
It's all publicly accessible. So it's like anytime you can pull up the map of where you are if you're in like, Bryant Park or something. And you can take security camera footage of yourself.
Dude,
I wonder where all that footage is. Maybe, I don't know if they'd like keep it for security purposes, but it's like when you walk down the street in public now, you're on like 20 cameras at once.
Yeah, I don't know how they could keep it. There's got to be a short shelf life.
Yeah, storage is basically free. I'm sure,
You think they keep it all?
I bet the FBI or something, if they were trying to figure out, terrorists, they want to go back and see where this guy was.
Yeah.
I'm sure they could just boom, boom, boom. See it from all angles.
Dude, I seen that. That is so cool. I seen where you could just go on the website. Yeah, but you can get a picture. I don't think you can video record. You can get a screenshot.
Those things are all cameras.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like
you could just screen record your phone, probably.
Yeah, but I'm sure once wherever that stuff is being saved from the FBI or something, it's like I'm sure if they're trying to track somebody, they got all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you would hope, man. There's all these shootings, dude. It's like, man, people just get away, though. You would think we need more fucking cameras. I don't see why anybody's against cameras. We need cameras on the ground. Dude, bust everybody. What could ever be wrong with a camera? I think if you have spotlights and cameras, crime would go down so much. If there was no dark alleys and cameras everywhere, then you just mask up, though.
Well, there's that, and there's more cameras than there's ever been in the world right now. It's like crime hasn't gone down that much.
Right.
You go anywhere in New York City, there are literal cameras on the streets.
People just wear a mask, yeah.
People wear the mask, or it's just like they just don't. And,
Right.
if you're just bold enough, you can kind of get away with it.
You know what we got to do? When people are born, we got to inject a camera in them so we can see what they're doing.
Yeah, I think a lot of this stuff, though, it just comes down to, like, there are reasons for these laws. Where
I might have just lost every red state with that.
Yeah, exactly. You can't give the government this much power.
Joking.
Or it's
I
like
would never do that.
The government will turn this on you. Anytime you give people, people this much power, any cop, it's like they will figure out a way to screw you over with it.
I mean, but it might be hard if they got the hardcore evidence.
Yeah, they say that, but it's like you'll find a way.
Video editor.
Or some sort of AI stuff or something.
Remember when video editing first started getting big, dude? Everybody was turning up the laughs on their... all the laughs. Video editing's came a long way, dude. I just started back into editing a little. It's crazy how much easier it got. I remember when I very first started video editing way before I moved to New York. Remember Pinnacle? How long have you been editing for? They used to have a thing called Pinnacle. That's what you used to video edit on. Dude, it was intense.
Oh, yeah.
The name of it was Pinnacle. This is like 2011, 2010.
Oh, yeah.
Video editing software. And, dude, it was like you got to be like 10,000 different things. Now there's all these shortcuts like Adobe. Dude, I love Adobe, man.
What's great about video editing these days is that we both realized that I think everybody's coming to the realization that you don't actually have to do all this shit.
Right.
If your goal is to go viral, it's like you're almost better off not doing all this shit.
But I mean,
people just give it to you. But it's like there was a while where everybody's idea was like, I'm going to make the slickest looking shit. This is going to look like a movie. I'm going to try to make all my videos look like a Verizon commercial.
Right.
And it's like eventually people are starting to realize now it's like, no, I got to do the opposite of that.
Yeah.
I got to make something that looks so raw that everybody just assumes this must be a real thing.
But I mean, even something as easy as like when we went out and we just filmed, we were messing around with your camera late at night. And we didn't even have a Rode mic on, I don't think. Remember we opened up the podcast with it?
Oh, yeah.
Think about back in the 90s to get that done. That would have been $100,000. And to have it edited and all that.
It would have just taken forever.
I just watched Rocky 5, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like we can put out better quality than Rocky. If you see Stallone's... When he's supposed to be listening, he's talking, his hands are moving.
Well,
it's like that wasn't that long ago.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of that, too, that's just a matter of, like, somebody actually knowing what they're doing.
Yeah.
But I think the problem with Stallone and those guys, there was a time period where I think Stallone and Schwarzenegger got so big that it's like the directors were like, I can't tell this guy what to do. He's a star.
Right.
So I think that once you get that, especially once you get to Rocky 5, once you've achieved that level of success, Stallone just walks on set like, we're doing this right now.
Yeah.
And then you watch it back and it's like, wait, his eyes looking this way. This guy's looking this way. It doesn't line up. And I think when you're actually on set, I think they're just like, nah, we get this guy for 20 minutes. He's in and he's out.
You know which other one surprised me? It looks like it didn't cost that much when you really look at it. Is Pulp Fiction. Like those guns aren't even really shooting. There's no shell coming out.
Yeah.
It's just the sound. It's very easy. It's just him moving the gun with a sound effect.
Yeah.
And the cuts, it's like they didn't put... I feel like I could make Pulp Fiction with my camera on $30 right now.
I mean, you say that until you try to do it. But it's like that is just a matter of like storytelling and skill. But
right.
It's like, yeah, the movie itself on a technical level, it doesn't look like Avatar or something.
Yeah, it wasn't some crazy. When you watch these movies and you really look at it, you're like, that wasn't really impossible.
But that also gives you an appreciation for when you actually watch like, Citizen Kane kind of stuff.
Right.
Where it's like they were filming this on film. So they had to get an actual canister and they had to roll that shit up. And then 300 extras in the background were tap dancing, and the camera had to go from over here, one shot, we're zooming in, over here. Fred Astaire is gonna dance over here and spin around, and it's like there's no CGI or editing. This is all like we get one take. And back then, nowadays when you're on a movie set, you've seen it, where it's like we filmed something and I'll give you a second, let's watch that back, and they have playback screens and everything. They didn't have that back then. That started in like the 70s. So all those like Lawrence of Arabia movies back in the day, that was all just in their head.
Wow.
Where it's like we've just filmed this entire sequence on film. It's like, I'm pretty sure we got it. We'll find out later if we got it.
Wow.
But it's like,
a lot of recuts.
But yeah, just think about what it was like to be an extra in those movies. You were just some fucking guy and you're dressed up in a turban in the desert. and they're just like, all right, we got to run that entire battle scene back.
Yeah, do it again, guys.
Yeah, do it again. And it's like every single time we do this is costing us, a fucking fortune.
And dude, I just seen the thing that Power Rangers was just stolen footage from like a show in Japan. Mm-hmm. Dude, that's just crazy.
That was just they had to just recycle it. Where it's like, no, we're just gonna film the parts where they take off the mask.
Dude, that's insane, dude.
Yeah, it's like it goes to show how much that's all just like skill.
Smoke and mirrors. Disney too. Disney, I didn't know those were. So what they did in Disney was all the backgrounds, when you see it, looks like a castle and all this stuff. That was a piece of glass that somebody painted a castle on.
Yeah. And a lot of those Disney movies, if you go back and you watch Snow White, and then you watch like whatever the other Disney movies, Mickey Mouse shit.
Yeah.
It's like it's the exact same stuff in half of those movies. Just
same thing with the toys.
Yeah, because it used to cost so much money to do all that stuff. Where it's like
the toys, they keep the toys very similar. I think for a period, Disney was making movies strictly for the toys.
Yeah.
Remember, a few of them were similar.
Well, I think too, one thing that's different now, especially with like Disney movies or like, because back in the day they could have put out like you put out like a Donald Duck movie,
right?
And then a year later we put out, it's like, oh, we're gonna use that same footage, we're gonna make a Mickey Mouse movie, but it's like people were just watching it at the theater, so there was no way to get caught.
Wow.
Nowadays you try to pull some sneaky shit, it's like you're gonna get caught immediately. Dude. Some TikTok guy is going to try to out you. But it's like, no, back then it was just in your head.
Yeah.
You'd be watching Mickey Mouse and you're like, this seems familiar. But it's like, maybe it is, maybe it's not.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's how, and sometimes, like, people do get outed. But, with the internet now, like, you want to catch everything. And I used to be like this, too. I'd be like, oh, that sounds similar to this. But you really opened up my eyes to it about how if you're talking very surface level shit, people could have the same story or the same joke. If it's very surface level.
The entire purpose of comedy is to, like, relate to the audience.
Right.
So it's like there's only there's not an infinite number of things to talk about.
Girls like Target. Dude,
yeah.
You say shit like that.
Pumpkin spice latte.
They're on your side. Yeah. Whole Foods.
All you got to say is pumpkin spice latte, and there's going to be at least 4 people in the audience to just start laughing based on the words.
I used to struggle when I tell you, I was afraid of young 22-year-old girls in my audience because they hated me. Look at me. I'm not one of these. I don't got cheekbones. I'm not somebody the girls are whistling for. I was actually the opposite of that. I'm a short, fat, balding white man. And I come out there, I sense they hated me. Now, been doing a lot of shows in West Village. Hit them with that Target, little Starbucks, some talking about traveling. It's hard being a woman. Guys suck. Going to my material.
This is all in your head.
You think so?
This is 100% in your head. You could have gone to your material the entire time. The problem was before you're going on stage and you're telling yourself all these. This is the same thing with the weight. You're telling yourself stories in your head.
Psyching myself out.
Yeah, this girl's not gonna like me. I'm this, I'm that. And it's like, no, this is what I've been telling you for 10 years. It's like these are people at a comedy show. You're not pulling random people on the street and then they don't want to. They came to see a comedy show. They don't give a fuck. Just tell your jokes.
Just do the jokes.
Anytime you go up there and you think like, oh, this is a black audience, so I got to say this, and I got to say this, and oh, this guy's Jewish, so I got to make a Jewish. It's like, no, that's not what they want to hear.
That's a good point.
Not only do they not want to hear, that is the last thing they want to hear. Just imagine.
Well, girls want to hear about Starbucks.
They want to hear. They want to laugh.
Right.
If it's funny, they want to hear about it. But it's like the idea that it's like, I got this audience, I got to tell them this. And then, oh, if they're over here, I got to tell them, oh, what's Houston? What's funny about Houston? Let me talk about that.
You are
like,
right.
No, we're in Houston. I fucking live here. Why would I want to hear about the Houston
20
Rockets?
minutes on Houston.
Yeah, you're in St. Louis. And it's like, what's the deal with that arch? It's like.
I remember I used to host back in the day. Every headliner would come in. What's the bad neighborhood nearby?
Exactly.
They do 20 minutes. Yeah. Bimington.
Yeah, what's up with Cleveland?
Yeah.
And it's like, this is, yeah. Every comic that wants to, like, that goes on tour. They're on tour in, like, Texas, and they do some Photoshop of them on a cowboy's face. And they get to Texas. It's like, oh, what's my Texas material? I'm going to open with 10 minutes of Texas. And it's like, oh, San Francisco, what's up at the Golden Gate Bridge? It's like, no, we live here.
Right.
This is not, this is exactly what we do. Not only that, you know the least about this because, it's not actually who you are.
You just wrote this 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, exactly. This is fucking pandering.
This isn't a great joke.
Yeah, and you think it's going to work because there are a certain amount of dumb people in the audience where it's like, you say something, you ever see a comic where they're like, hey, who's drinking?
You know,
and then everybody starts cheering.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Who's fucking?
All you asked
That's
was
the real
who
one.
likes beer.
Right.
And all this some fucking dumb asshole starts clapping because you just pressed a button in his brain. But it's like you didn't actually do anything.
Dude, give it up for the troops. Who's got a birthday? Any anniversaries? I see people.
I'm sure on the cruise ship, it's like, man, customs was crazy.
Oh,
yeah,
dude,
what was up with
everything.
that? Yeah.
Dude, people will go watch your first set, and they'll tell you sometimes, just so you know, I do the joke about the toilet flushing. It's like, dude, I would never do the joke about the toilet flushing.
I do the joke about how it's hot outside. Boy, it's hot.
You know, a lot of people do. I have a few jokes that are universal, but there's something to be said about the whole reason I want to travel around the U.S. and hit the land hard is because I do notice one thing just from doing different ships. It's not a bad idea to test your material in every state and really adjust it because some states are different. You could always do your jokes, but I'm telling you, bro, when you push the envelope, certain states are different than other states. I do it all the time.
Yeah, but I mean, that's like if you're being yourself, then it's like you can only control these elements so much.
But you learn along the way. Like you're like, maybe. I used to have a joke I was subconsciously.
You think that, but it's like you think with Bill Burr goes to Houston and then he goes to New York.
Well, because he already did it all. Like, you know.
Yeah, but
I'm sure he tests out his material in different places.
He tests it out, but he's still him.
Right.
You see any comic who you consider to be a good comic. Not to say their act changes night to night based on how they feel, but it's not like, oh, these are white people, so I got to do this.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying for different states, it's not bad to, it's good to, I'm telling you, it's good to test out your humor. And you got to keep in mind, in 1 week, I'll do Texas, San Fran, Florida, like all within like 10 days. So I see the difference. I adjust the humor. I'm telling you, it makes.
Yeah, well, this is also a style of comedy where you're not performing for fans.
I'm not performing for fans. That's a huge thing.
These are just drunk people on a boat.
But there is something to be said. You could notice, like, oh, okay, Texas.
Yeah, well, it's also like if you're performing for, a bunch of old people and you start talking about hookers or something, and it's like
there's a lot about reading the room, but I don't know what other and this is probably a big fault on me. I don't pay any attention to politics, so I don't know what state is a red state or blue state, and sometimes I might just be saying a joke because I feel like that's how I wrote it, but I have no political background on it.
Right.
Like, for instance, I had this joke where I was like, my body, my choice, because in New York I wrote it. It got a fucking applause break one day.
Right.
So maybe if I had some beliefs or some morals,
yeah.
I wouldn't have this problem. But I'm a very middle road guy,
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really pay that much attention to it. But in Texas, you can't be saying my body, my choice like you could in Florida.
You can. People are going to get mad.
Yeah, you're going to have the repercussions.
If you're really worried about people. But it's just like, no, you think Bill Burr can't go on stage and say my body, my choice?
Right. And well, that's his beliefs. I feel like Bill Burr has a sense of politics.
That's any comic, though. It's like, this is you standing up for it. Well, this is also a problem because you don't actually believe that. That's the thing you said that was funny.
Pay no attention
but
to it.
But it's like, if you actually care about what you're saying, if you're the type of person who's saying something for
with a reason.
A real well, if it's like you're just talking about yourself. Because there are some people, especially if it's like, if it's like a comic is like a lesbian or something. She goes into the deep south. There's going to be some people who are like, it's going to get some pushback. It's like, you're supposed to stop being a lesbian?
Well, in Texas, that it taught me. I just eliminated that line. Now the joke works everywhere. I just actually cut that line off. It wasn't even needed.
Yeah. I mean, that's also just because that's just the joke didn't need that.
Right.
But it's like if this was actually a core part of your identity and you're talking about yourself and it offends people, it's like, who gives a fuck? What are you supposed to stop? There's some people who are going to be offended that you're a white guy.
It's like are you trying to crowd please?
Yeah, you're not going to pander to this crowd. You can only push that to a certain extent. That's why I think it's good to like be able to go into like that war zone mentality of comedy of like, I'm going to go in and like these people don't know me.
Right.
They're drunk. This is an audience I'm not familiar with. I got to learn to live with it. But it's like, you do that for too long. This is bad for you.
Right.
Because it's making you insecure about your own beliefs. It's like,
that's a good point.
I have to what's I'm going to crack this puzzle. But it's like, that's not being a great comic.
Right.
Anybody you consider to be a great comic doesn't do that.
Right.
They do the opposite of that.
Well, I know I'm never going to talk politics in my act. I'll never know enough about it.
The thing is, you're not a political person, so my body, my choice. You're saying that's not political,
Right.
But it's like to people who are intensely political, everything is political.
Oh wow.
If you talk about that, if you go on stage and you talk about it's fucked up that some people are billionaires and some people are homeless, that's a political statement. Even if you're not actually talking about Democrats and Republicans, but it's like the way people are wired these days, especially for like, abortion kind of stuff,
right?
Or like gay marriage. But it's like,
right.
Being gay is not a religious choice. That's just who you are.
Right.
So it's like if you do say that, there's going to be some guy in the crowd who's going to be like, "Oh, I don't want to hear about this."
Right.
It's like, who gives a fuck what you want? This is my show.
Yeah.
But it's like if you're always in the mentality of like, "Oh, I got to please this guy. What's that guy going to think?" It's like,
right.
You're never going to get past that because you're always going to be like, "What do you want?"
That's a good, strong point.
That's what all these fucking crowd work stuff is. Like, it's just all pandering.
It's stuff that is going to hit a lot of jokes that really go viral is like the very stereotypical, and I'm guilty of it too. Black people being late. I got a joke about that. It's an easy,
But the crowd work thing is like, this is a guy who you didn't think of this idea before you got on stage, and it's like, I want to present this.
Right.
You got into the room and you thought, what's this guy want to hear?
And most of the crowd work that kills the hardest is the stereotypical crowd work.
Yeah. I mean, it's the most you're trying to think. It's like free association thinking.
Right.
Fat guy, white guy, skinny guy, Mexican guy.
It's crazy, dude. You hear the decibels. I mean, sometimes jokes do hit like that, but dude, I got a few crowd work bits that I do because I know they're crowd work bits, and I'm good at slipping them in. But even when I get lucky with crowd work, dude, on a cruise ship, like a cruise ship theater, they want you to talk to them. They're the star. Like, dude, the crowd work is decibels compared to material.
Yeah. This fat motherfucker.
Right. You just say, this, no neck. My long neck.
Guy's got some tight ass pants on.
You should hear him. This dude got a long ass neck.
Oh, yeah.
The place goes nuts.
Yep. And you start picking up the mic stand.
One thing I've always wished I would have had was like, but now I can't even do it anyway, but I've always was jealous of the people with all these different tools, like the people that can sing. I feel like my voice now, if I were to sing with this voice, I'd have some Barry Manilow or something, let's get it on or some shit. But, like you ever see people, they're singing, they're dancing, doing impressions. And then like, I've seen them get off the stage and sitting on people's lap and being all, sassy, and it's just like, dude, that's just explosive the whole time. Just blowing.
You should be the guy who gets on stage with like workout equipment.
Just start working out.
Get some dumbbells up there and like a pull-up bar.
Yeah.
Just imagine you trying to do your act while you're all sweaty and you're on like a treadmill. I think that could be your thing.
I worked with a guy one time in Jersey, man. He was a plumber. His whole thing was while he did his act, he added jokes in, and he'd tell you how to fix your drain.
Wow. There you go. That's a niche right there.
He'd wheel it out, and people were going nuts.
Wow.
I mean, it was all his friends probably or whatever.
Bunch of other plumbers.
Yeah, it was basically just taking that bottom trap off and cleaning it out.
Oh, yeah, the U.
Yeah.
I think that's like 90% of plumbing.
Yep.
It's just that's why those plumbers are always so mad.
Yeah.
Every single time, it's always just hair in the U-shaped pipe. And
right.
It's like bam, and you're out.
You're out.
Yeah. Charge for 2-hour minimum.
In and out.
Yeah. All right. Let's plug some dates, huh?
What do we got
next week? You're going back to the Caribbean.
Yep, going back to the Caribbean.
Turks and Caicos.
Turks and Caicos. Then Greece. I got a few things in New York. I got some stuff coming up hopefully soon. I'll be announcing. We'll see what happens. Got some stuff in the works. I might put together a show here with a few influencers, but never, New York's such a hard one to crack. I'm on the fence if I even want to do it. We'll see.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's also, you could just hang out with those guys.
You got nothing to lose. I mean, like we're talking like maybe try to start putting together a few shows, start in New York, start hitting Boston. It's like me and like three or four other influencers. And
the Italians of comedy.
Yeah, well, I think one of them is Italian. Those guys, I don't think those dudes would tour with me. No, these are just a couple comics, influencer comics that reached out to me. We'll see what happens. I don't know. It would be fun. I mean, it wouldn't hurt.
Right.
I don't know how much comes out of it from New York. It's too hard to tell.
Right.
But keep your eyes peeled. There might be a little social media.
Yeah, everybody that's in the Turks and Caicos.
Come catch me at the airport.
Dominicans, yeah.
I'm going to Mumbai.
Buenas noches.